couple things on the game. Give a lot of credit to James Madison. A lot of the stuff that I said throughout the week was very, very evident when it comes to a very disciplined football team that plays real hard. It's important to them. They're smart on all three sides of the ball. They did a good job of controlling the clock. They you know, when we got up 28-0, they didn't pout, they didn't fold, they didn't do anything. They just kept playing. It's a tribute to James Madison's program. They do things right. And proud of our guys. I think we got better on all three sides of the ball. We came in with the objective of hoping that would happen, hoping that we would be able to play a lot of kids. I don't think last week we played 62. I'd be surprised if we didn't play a little bit more than that this week. Second week in a row, Geno played obviously good. Got us out of some bad situations. Happy with how we took care of the football for the second week in a row. We didn't turn it over. I know we got one pick last week late, but took care of the ball. So we played pretty smart defensively. The one turnover we got was huge, obviously in the third quarter. So still didn't get to the quarterback as much as we wanted to. Still didn't tackle as well as we want to. But when you got that many bodies out there, a lot of that stuff's going to look bad. So, but anyway, just thought we improved on all three sides of the ball. Played a lot, and good to be 2-0, and we'll learn a lot from this game.
Coach, I know Geno and the receivers will get the usual accolades, but on a day in which you're honoring Sam Huff, you think you did him proud with those 2 goal line stands?
I would think so. I would think so. And one thing about Sam, not only defense, but from a special teams standpoint, I mean, he was a tremendous special teams player, and as many times as we kicked off, those guys got down the field and stopped people as well. He may have been as impressed with that as he was defensively. But, the one thing, we haven't faced adversity here in the last, going back to last year, obviously at the end of the year, we had 3 close games to finish the season where we did a great job of overcoming adversity. Going out after halftime, we wanted to go out and win the second half, which we ended up doing that, but we faced some adversity there in the third quarter. And offensively, we didn't do very good. Got stopped on a 4th down, and then we took a safety, but then we scored 3 or 4 times after that, which was good to get back on track. And then defensively, we gave up some big plays to get backed up, which the 2 goal line stands were really impressive. So, as a team, we overcame some adversity there in the third quarter. We got to get used to that.
You're a pretty understated guy. You said Geno did good. What can he do better at this point? After the 2 games you've seen him play so far this season, what areas do you see room for improvement?
Just keep making everybody else around him better is the biggest thing. I mean, he's doing a great job of making checks. He's getting us in the right plays. His completion percentage is off the charts. He's not taking sacks, so we got to clean some of that up, because when you face some of the D linemen that we're going to be facing, those aren't going to be as easy to get out of. So we got to do a better job of that. First time we've faced a lot of blitz in a long time, which we're going to be able to learn from that. He needs to do a better job of getting the ball out of his hands when they're doing a lot of blitzing, which James Madison did a good job of mixing that up. So when he sees it, he's got to get rid of the ball. He's not going to be able to sit there and scramble for 5 seconds all the time. So he's got to do a better job of getting rid of the ball.
And you got a wide receiver that catches 3 touchdowns, 170 yards and stuff like that, and Stedman plays 3 quarters. Why isn't that just enough? Why do you use him on kickoff team too?
He's a good safety guy.
And you made a
well, see, we'll take him off of offense before we take him off of special teams. It's what we tell all of our guys. And there's 4 special teams. Every starter we have is going to be on at least one of them, and most of them are going to be on 2 of them. So Stedman's on kickoff and kickoff return. That's not too much for him to handle. If it is, then we will take some reps from him on offense. That's how we approach special teams. It's no different with Isaiah Bruce or Carl Joseph or whoever it is.
Hey, what was the decision not to try to take another punt toward the end when you were backed up in the 4th down?
On which one was that?
The one you let the line throw went long, and then you took the delay.
Yeah, we're right there. We're right there. We didn't take a delay. I mean, the center should have snapped the thing, but we were right in that 30 to 40 range. You know, we could have possibly kicked a field goal, but that wouldn't have proved anything. You know, we could have punted, but then we would have gained 10, 12 yards. So at that point, my opinion was let's let the young guys run another play to try to get some more tape on film to see if they can execute it. You know, and it's the same thing James Madison did at the end. I mean, they put some of their reserves in there and they let them play football. I mean, this whole thing where we're gonna quit playing football just because we're up. That's not going to exist. We're going to get our younger kids in there. We're going to let them play.
How significant is it through 2 games to have gotten so many guys a lot of experience at this point that could be valuable down the road?
It's tremendous. You know, like I said, 62 guys last game, probably a few more this week. That's going to be good. Again, it's all about going back home and evaluating the tape and putting it on tape and showing the kids this is what you did right, this is what you did wrong, and we're still looking for, you know, guys to figure out what they can do. We're playing so many young kids that we're looking for situations that we need to put them in the game, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams.
Coach, defensively, you know, you had the goal line stand, and then, you know, forced a couple turnovers. Just first impressions tonight. Any improvements overall from what you saw tonight?
I think so. These guys posed a different challenge than what Marshall did. Marshall spread it around and throw it, and these guys were more ball control. And so, you know, so we're going to obviously have to watch the tape to see if there's anything schematically that we need to do different when we play teams like this. Which, you know, Texas is going to do some of this stuff, and Kansas State's going to do some of this stuff. Offhand, I know they are. So we'll look at it from a schematic standpoint. Third downs was better. You know, we got off the field better. You know, so I think there's some improvement, and we just have to look at it to see.
Dan, that first 4th down in the 3rd quarter, I imagine you want to get the yard keep going. It's in a decent spot in the field, so you're not up against the goal line. So maybe it's for the offense, but in the back of your head, if it doesn't work, are you thinking maybe this is a good stimulation for the defense to see if can they guard 50 yards, can they guard the goal line? Is that part of it as well?
It always is. I mean, hindsight, probably should have punted it. You know, we probably need some work on our punt team, obviously. And then, you know, it's one of them things where you're cross midfield. I mean, if you look at what the stats say, once you cross midfield, you're supposed to go for it more often than you're not supposed to go for it. Same thing as last week. I mean, last week I should have kicked a field goal. Obviously, today in hindsight, I guess I should have punted, but we didn't make that decision. We got to be able to get a yard in our short yardage game. And it was 3rd and 1, and we lost the yard, so I got mad again, and I called another run play to see if they'd respond. And we'll dissect why we didn't get that and try to make better decisions for it. But to answer your question, yeah. I mean, what's defense's job? I mean, if it's 1st and 10 on the 50, it's their job to stop them. If it's 1st and 10 on the 25, their job is to stop them. If it's a sudden change and they get the ball that we're backs up and we're on the -15, then their job is to hold them to a field goal. So that's what their job is defensively.
You know, when you discuss Bowie as a pass catcher a little bit, I mean, young kids normally don't catch the ball well, and yet he showed himself to be pretty good at that today.
Yeah, I don't agree with you as far as young kids not catching the ball well. I mean, we've had a lot of our backs do that. If you look back at the 15 years we've been running this offense, there's always been pass catching backs. He's definitely improved himself from last year. We targeted him purposely this game to try to get the ball in his hands more from a pass catching standpoint. And he's becoming a better back because of it. So and he's another weapon that we can throw it to. But we've always had receiving running backs. I wouldn't say we've always had big, strong backs like Sean, but we've had backs like Bowie in this offense forever.
Last week you said one day you had about 30 plays with the young guys.
Mm-hmm.
Did that turn into anything today? Did any of those guys get out there that they did something that carried over to practice, they got more snaps? You said you played more guys, right?
Wasn't many of them, because when we do that back home, it's typically guys that are redshirted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, guys that there could be some backups in there, but you know, from an offensive line standpoint, none of those guys are here. I mean, they're all back home. You know, there may be a defensive line guy here or there, but typically it's for all our redshirted guys or non-travel squad.
It's understandable a couple of fans might have had some nerves because of what JMU did to Tech a couple of years ago. How important was it to get out to that early lead and sort of put that dagger in early?
Well, yeah, we talked about it. I mean, they're exactly who we thought they were. I mean, you know, we talked all week about respecting our opponent because they deserve respect. You put the tape on and it looks like good football. So they played hard, they tackle well, their schemes are good. They've shown potential to upset people. So you know, I give our guys credit for not falling into that trap.
Can you talk a little bit about Stedman, what he was able to do today, in terms of, I guess, his production, the frequency that he was catching him out there?
Yeah, he did good. Tavon did good too. Tavon played faster than he did a week ago. He caught 11 for 113, but I mean, Stedman did this last year some too. So I mean, we're aware of what Stedman can do.
How much does it open things up when you have both of those guys then? I mean, when they're not able to focus on anybody?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have both those guys out there. And to have a pass catching guy in the backfield is good. You know, JD made a couple of catches. So we've talked about ball distribution a lot. It's not about just having one or two guys. It's about having a bunch of them to where they got to cover the whole field.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Okay, thanks, guys.